Welcome to the Black Mirror Podcast.
Join host HohO as he discusses the riveting Netflix original series,
Black Mirror. Now, here he is, HoHo.
We're broadcasting from Weaponized Soft Productions, Studio B. Welcome to Black Mirror Podcast, and as always, I'm your host, HoHo. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. Today we're going to be discussing Season 6, doing a quick recap on the episodes, and then I'm going to give you my ranking from least to worst on my favorite episodes in this season. Now, before we go any further, I gotta warn you, spoiler alert, if you have yet to see any of Season 6, head on over to Netflix, watch the season, and then come back over and take a listen, see to this episode, because we are going to be talking about the episodes themselves. Now, whenever, or I guess I should say just before Season 6 came out, about the only thing that I heard about the season itself was that they were upping the production value, maybe adding some more depth to the characters or whatever the case may be. And I can't say as if that really held true, at least my opinion, because Season 5, I mean, it may have been a shorter season, but it was really packed with everything. I mean, they did a really good job with that season. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, that's not to take away from Season 6, because I did like Season 6. Don't get me wrong. I really did. And they kicked off Season 6 with an amazing episode. Joan is awful. Holy cow. That one was a really cool episode. And I tell you why. Because when you look at quantum computing, whenever you look at, AI, CGI, whenever you are looking at deep fakes and all that kind of stuff, the fact that they can reproduce somebody's voice, a celebrity, somebody whom, like my voice, even they can reproduce it accurately to a point to where you wouldn't know if it was me or whether it was AI doing it. I mean, that just brings a whole new level of wow to it. You know what I mean? And you look at just everything, especially when we take into account, that especially in the city, that you are recorded audio, visual so much, so often that, yeah, I mean, they would be able to do something like that, especially with the celebrity, with all the times that they're on camera and whatnot. I mean, they can virtually do anything they want to. I've seen The Mandalorian where they did the deep fake version of, what was his name? Of Luke Skywalker, making him look young, like as he was in the original series. And it was like, wow, that to me was cool. And, thinking about the whole aspect of, nobody reads the terms of service whenever they, download an app, whenever they start using the app. I mean, you never know what it is you're actually agreeing to. It definitely is a precautionary tale to read that fine print, read that puppy, see what you're actually agreeing to. And before you make the assumption that, my life isn't interesting enough for them to make something like that. I mean, think about it like this, how often do we watch quote unquote reality TV? How often do we do that? We're intrigued by that type of content. And I mean, think about it. The best horror movies out there are based off of a true story. And so many of them out there are. I mean, you look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You look at, even the concept behind Nightmare on Elm Street, the first Friday the 13th, based off of a true episode, based off of a true story. I mean, holy crap, fact. More often than not, is stranger than fiction, isn't it? So, I mean, it's not real far-fetched that they may actually end up pulling off something like this. I mean, that to me was just, it brought a different level to this episode. It really did. At least for me, it did, And this episode, I mean, you're talking a computer-generated, reproduced world using, I guess quantum computing. I don't know if they really use that or not. I don't remember them really saying, but even still, it's like, dude, I mean, it's the amount of processing power that would take. Holy crap. But they reproduced it, and it was, one of the things that got me in this episode was it was layer upon layer. It was world within a world within a world. So many depths. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio in, what movie was that? I don't remember the movie, where they spin the top and they're in dream world with different layers and whatnot. I mean, that just, Leonardo DiCaprio, eat your heart out. So many different layers in this one. Phenomenal. Now, the portion of this movie or episode that really got me was, you've got a gal whom, is living her life, and then, she notices on Netflix, or whatever the name of the streaming service was. It was Netflix. Come on, let's be real. She's seen the title, then intrigued her, and the similarity of the person on it looked a lot like her. Of course, it was Salma Hayek. It was a different actor, but at the same time, it was like, she kind of looks like me. And she watches the video, and it's like, holy crap, this happened. This is the story of my life. Holy crap. I mean, I don't like this. I really don't like this. This is ruining my life. She ended up getting fired. She loses her boyfriend. I mean, the whole 9 yards. She's like, holy crap, I don't like this. I'm not a fan. And she tried to fight back, didn't she? She went to Netflix. She's like, hey, you guys can't do this. And they were like, well, actually, precautionary tale to, read the fine print, read the terms of service agreement, because what she claimed she didn't do, she actually did. She agreed to let Netflix use her likeness, use her story to, using, all this metadata and all the information that they gathered in order to recreate the story of her life. And of which case she didn't like this. She was pretty upset about it. But because she was an individual, basically powerless to do anything, to change anything, she went above and beyond, didn't she? I mean, holy crap. I mean, that was just absolutely hilarious to watch this episode play out. It was so funny. Very enjoyable to watch on this one. It really was, and she figured that if she couldn't do anything, maybe Salma Hayek could do something. So she felt that, the best way to go about doing this would be to, do some things that Salma Hayek would not like and get her ticked off in the process. That's where this episode went. Phenomenal. And then you find out it's a simulation within a simulation within a simulation, several layers deep. So the question I got for you is, how close do you think we are to being able to utilize this technology, this type of technology? How, with CGI, with deep fake, with being able to recreate accurately and realistically somebody's voice? I mean, how far away do you think we are? Because I quite honestly think that we're probably there, more so than what we would want to give credit to. That, they could do this if they really wanted to. they could probably do this. I mean, maybe not necessarily full on, it looks and acts like reality, but like definitely in an aspect where you're making like a, with CGI, like a live action cartoon type of a thing, like like a realistic type of a video game, recreating it on that level. Though that one I can see more so than it actually looking real, but at the same time, who knows? So how far away do you think we are to something like that? Do you think we're pretty close to it? How many years away do you think it is? 5 years? 10 years? I don't know. And if you were in Joan's shoes, if one day you turned on Netflix and you seen a new series that was the story of your life, how would you feel about it? Would you be mad? Would you be upset? Would you be ticked off? I mean, would it ruin your life? And what would you do in retaliation? Would you do what Joan did? I mean, holy crap. I mean, for me, it was like, dude, yeah, I can see me doing that. I know how I am. I've met myself. I'm a little on the cuckoo side. I'm a little crazy. I'm a little unhinged. I would do some crazy stuff to get back and make somebody mad. Absolutely. I could easily see myself doing that. Would you be the same way? Or would you try to change your behavior to make it more socially acceptable? Maybe. I don't know. What would you do? Let me know down in the comments. Send me an email, HoHO@blackmirrorpodcast.com. Definitely. I want to know. I want to know your take. The next episode they did was Lock Henry. Now this one, okay, look, I'm mid-40s. I'm of the generation that, we made the rules, right? And this one, it didn't really surprise me. I kind of seen it coming, with the mom being involved in these murders that happened at Lock Henry. It didn't surprise me. The twist that I wasn't really expecting was that both parents were involved. I kind of figured that, it would have been, the dad died because he found out and the mom killed him. That's what I was kind of expecting. That was the direction I kind of figured it was going to go. The surprise wasn't that the mom was involved. For me, the surprise was both parents were involved. Now again, my generation, we're the ones that we had, what movie? Well, okay, Scream, where they lay out the rules to a horror movie, and of which case, yeah, whenever you watch enough movies, when you watch enough TV series, you kind of pick up on the rules, right? Because they all follow the same basic pattern, the same basic plot line. I mean, granted, they all put their own spin, they all put their own twist, but it's still a lot the same pattern. A romance follows a pattern. A comedy follows a pattern. A rom-com follows a pattern. A horror, suspense, thriller, they all follow a pattern. An action movie, they all follow a pattern. And once you know the genre of the movie you're watching, it's really easy to kind of predict what's going to happen. But we had movies like Scream, where the whole point was to break the rules. We had a lot of different things where it's like, yeah, it established the rules. The rules were made clear. And yeah, so I mean, Lock Henry really didn't do a lot to surprise me, but they still did a pretty good job with it. They really did. They added their little version to it, their little twist to it. Because you had a son and his girlfriend, Davis and Pia. They're going back home. They learn, or at least the Pia, however they pronounce it, I don't even remember. She finds out about this story, and she's like, oh, we should do a documentary based off of that for their class they're taking, the course they're taking in college. And going through the whole thing, doing the research, finding the VHS tapes down in the basement, finding out that the mom and the dad were involved in it. Holy crap. I mean, it was neat, wasn't it? I mean, it was a good episode. I liked it. I really did. It was a good episode. Then you had Beyond the Sea, and holy cow, this episode was on a whole new level. Now, again, I want to ask you, because anymore, like I said, we don't really have science fiction anymore. It's more of science fantasy, I mean, with the advancements in robotics, I mean, how far away do you think we are from the aspect of, having life-size, lifelike robotics? I mean, you look at where robotics is at with the newest robot that Tesla released. I mean, holy cow, that thing is, between. Have you seen the movie I, Robot with Will Smith? You have the older robots that they're getting rid of, and then the newer robots that are more, the facial expressions, more lifelike, they move a lot better, and you got the new Tesla robot. I don't remember what the name of the robot was, but you had that new Tesla robot, and it's kind of in between those two robots on iRobot. And it's like, I really hope that Elon Musk does a much better job with the 3 laws than what they did in iRobot. Just saying, just throwing it out there. So how far do you think we are away from actually being able to make robots that move, walk, talk, can do that, replicas like that? How far away do you think we are? 5 years, 10 years? That one, me personally, I don't know. I really don't. And then you have the other aspect of the show of being able to, transmit one's consciousness and being able to, get the tactile sensations of the robot that you're in. How far away do you think we are from something like that? Because that's the one that would be awesome. I mean, it really would be. Especially whenever you're looking at the scenario that they use it, having it to where, as somebody whom is away from home long periods of time, like space travel, that they can still go back home, transfer their consciousness to a replica, to a robot back home, and still be able to live their life as if they never left, like they're just going to work. How awesome would that be? I mean, the use case on that I thought was just outstanding because, I'm a truck driver, It's being away from home, especially whenever you have a family, it's just it throws a wrench in things, you know what I mean? And it's the toll that it takes. It's not for everybody. But let's say you were able to transfer your consciousness to a replica. Well, that just changes the game, doesn't it? And this story was pretty stinking cool because, the two main characters, Cliff and David, transferring their consciousness to a replica back home, still being able to live life with their family. And let's see, David. Yeah, I had to look up the name and read it. But David, whenever they're out and about, somebody whom is totally against this type of technology, they follow them home and they kill his entire family, kill his replica, and holy crap, the dark place that David goes into. It's like, holy cow. I mean, did you feel for David's character in this episode? I'm sorry. I keep calling it a movie. It's a mini movie. It really is. But did you feel for his character? I mean, holy cow. I mean, I couldn't even imagine the pain that David was going through. I really didn't. And Cliff and his wife, Lena, just trying to help out David by allowing him to be able to still, even though it's not his replica, it's not his family, but still allowing him the ability to get off the space station and experience nature and life back on Earth. And it's like, trying to help him out. It's like, wow, no good deed goes unpunished, right? No good deed goes unpunished. And then David just losing his mind, killing his, Cliff's entire family. And Cliff more or less being stuck now with David up on that space station. No reprieve. And let's see, and David knowing that whenever he returns to Earth, if he returns to Earth, which it doesn't really make that one clear as to how long they're going to be out, or at least if it does, I don't remember. Knowing that when you get back, you're going to jail because of what you did. That one, it was a good episode. It was dark though, wasn't it? Wasn't it dark? Man, so how far away do you think we are to that kind of technology? From being able to transfer one's consciousness to a replica. 10 years, 15, 20, do you think you'll see it in your lifetime? Because I don't know on that one. I'm kind of like, I don't think so. I think that one we might be a little bit farther away from. Even having replicas like that one. Now that one actually it kind of reminded me a little bit of, I think it was season 2? I think it was season 2. Yeah, Be Right Back. Beyond the Sea kind of reminded me a little bit of Be Right Back, the first episode of season 2. But with that one, it was a whole new level of creep. I mean, it really was. I mean, that one was just trippy. That one was trippy. Watch that one again. The next episode they did was Maisie Day. And that one, that one kind of took me for a loop, because I was expecting a precautionary tale on 2 different levels. I was expecting the whole, the toll that it takes on somebody whom is a paparazzi, that your whole entire livelihood revolves around you getting the shot. Something that is very important to these people, doing anything that they can to get the shot. And then a precautionary tale on, somebody whom is a celebrity and the toll that would take by having your entire life right there in the limelight with people following you around, taking pictures, to where you have zero privacy. But that's not the story we got though, is it? Instead, we got a monster movie. Because Maisie Day wasn't like just any celebrity. She was a werewolf. It was pretty stinking cool. Because Maisie Day, she disappears. I forget how long. I'm kind of reading through the thing real quick. I don't see it. But anyway, they're putting out a reward for pictures of her. And then the paparazzi gal, she discovers where she's at, because she spent like quite a bit of time, out of the business of being a paparazzi, because that happened, her relentless getting the shot, or she's seen something. I don't completely remember how it ended up playing out, but she got out of the biz, but she still had her contacts. She got out of the biz. She was going a different route. And then next thing you know, this huge amount of money for getting the picture, she goes back into it. She tracks down Maisie Day. She finds her in a hospital, thinking that it's just a hospital that specializes in rehab, but it's not. Trying to do the right thing and set her free, coming to find out what Maisie Day really is, a werewolf. Holy crap. And I gotta be honest with you on this. The ending was good. How they ended that episode, it was good. But I was disappointed. Not in how they ended it. That's not what disappointed me. What disappointed me was, the paparazzi, in the end, with the horrors that had just got done playing out, her redirecting her life choices to take a different path after seeing just how how much it can hurt you, how much it can hurt the celebrity, the mental toll that it takes. With her knowing all of this, she still chose to take that picture. That one kind of got me. I was a little disappointed in her, not in the episode itself. I mean, they did a good job with that episode. But it was still of a, man. So with that one, would you have taken those same steps? Would you have taken that shot? If you were in the paparazzi's place, if you were in her shoes, would you have been able to take the shot? To take the photo during something like that, in that place, at that time, would you have been able to do that? Because me, I don't know. Because, I mean, by this time, she already had, the picture that they went there to get. She already had the $30,000. I mean, in her team, her friends that went with her, I believe they had already died at this point. So, I mean, you're not even in competition with somebody else to get the shot. The $30,000 is already yours. Would you have taken the shot? Man. I mean, I would like to say that I wouldn't have. I would like to say that, but if I was actually put in that situation, I don't know. I can't answer that one. I can't answer that one. The next one, the last episode of the season was Demon 79. Now, this one, again, I really liked this episode. They took it a different direction than what I was expecting, because I was really expecting, considering Demon, I wasn't surprised that there was a demon in this one. But with Demon, I figured that they would balance it out by putting an angel in there. I really did. That's kind of what I was expecting. That's not what I got. And in all honesty, if they would have done it the way, by throwing an angel in there, it just wouldn't have worked. It would have thrown the whole thing out. Because what was important about this episode was the existential crises that were going on, right? That's the one that was wow. Because now, through circumstances, no fault of your own, you are put in a position where you have to make a choice. A choice to either do nothing and millions of people die, or you take action and a few people die. And the existential threat, or the existential crisis, being a crisis of morality, the moral of the whole thing is sacrificing the few to save the many. The moral dilemma that is being played out in this episode. Amazing episode. It really was a very, very good episode. Just the existential crisis, the conflicts that are going on within, the main character. What was her name? Nita. Just wow. This episode was really cool. The existential crisis, the moral dilemma. What would you have done if you're in a situation where it is that choice to take action, sacrificing the few in order to save the many? Because if you do nothing, the many dies. If you take action, then it's the few. Which would you do? Would you be able to sacrifice the many in order to save the few? Because in this one, it's an aspect of, there's no good. There's the lesser of two evils, but there's no good choice, because if you don't do anything, you're making the choice to do nothing, and in which case many people die. If you take action, you have to put action to a decision and make a choice, and that choice will end up ending the life of a few or one, however you want to put this dilemma. And in the episode, it's a few. Would you be able to do that? Now again, logically speaking, I would say absolutely. You take action. You sacrifice the few to save the many. Absolutely. Logically speaking, that's the only right answer in this. But whenever it comes time to put actions to words, would you be able to do it? Which do you think would be the decision you should make, and which decision do you think you would be able to make? The two questions in on that one. So now that we've gone through and we've discussed every single one of the episodes, threw those in there, re-asking the questions, let me ask you this. How would you rank these episodes? All 5 of them, where would you put them? Now, for me, number 5, I had to put in as Lock Henry. All right, episode, 2 in this season? Yeah, Lock Henry. It was a good episode. It really was. And this, okay, let me put this one out there, because every one of these episodes were really good. And like, in all honesty, I had to start off with number 5 instead of going from, whenever I wrote this list out, instead of going from favorite to least favorite, I just it was kind of a toss up in several ways. Lock Henry just ended up being number 5 because of all the episodes. This is the one that surprised me the least. It was, it was just too predictable. That's not to take away from the episode itself, because it was still a good episode. It's worth watching, but there wasn't really any surprises in it. Nothing that just, whoa, there wasn't any of that. Good episode, but it just wasn't, whoa, kind of a, but that's about it. So number 5 for me was Lock Henry. Number 4 was Maisie Day. Now, don't get me wrong. This episode was phenomenal. They really did a good job with it. I liked the storyline. I liked the twist that they threw into it. But I had to rank this one at number 4. Maybe you disagree, maybe you agree, but I had to put this at number 4. Because Demon 79, that one was the one that, with the existential crises, with the absolute moral dilemma that they threw in there, multiple moral dilemmas they threw in there. That's the one that, that one is truly a solid number 3. I really liked that episode. I really did. And the number 1 spot, we're skipping number 2 because then it wouldn't be a surprise which one's number 1. So the number 1 position goes to Joan is Awful. Because this one, it was more in the realm of science fantasy, not science fiction. With the advancements that we have had in computers, in computer processing, with quantum computing, with deep fakes, with being able to recreate recordings and everything else in order to make something like this. This one to me just seemed like it was well more within the realm of possibility than what any of the other episodes in season 6 had. It's just the possibility in this one. And they, just throwing the technology into it with how over the top some of these, some of the scenes were, it had that comedy factor in it. It was overall an excellent episode on multiple levels. This one was an easy number 1, bringing number 2 to Beyond the Sea. Now, here's kind of the thing, though. 2, 3, and 4 on my rankings, 2 being Beyond the Sea, 3 Demon 79, and 4 being Maisie Day. It was really close on all of those. I got to be honest. It was a really tough decision. I think the middle one kind of went to 79, Demon 79. The number 2 slot was kind of more of a toss-up between Beyond the Sea and Maisie Day, because 2, 3, and 4 was just, it was a difficult one. It really was. It really was, so let me know where you thought these different episodes ranked. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments, but the best way to do that would be to email me, HoHo at blackmirrorpodcast.com. Feel free to do that. And also let me know those different questions that we asked throughout the episode. Send me those responses over to HoHo at blackmirrorpodcast.com. I want to know what you felt. And yeah, so there you go. Let me go ahead and get a quick drink. Holy crap. Oh, that's good coffee. That really is. That is good coffee. I like it. So I've been doing a lot of work on the website. I have, I have it set up. It is done. It is finished. blackmirrorpodcast.com. And of course the email, because that was shut off there for a while. Something happened with that. I didn't even realize that the whole thing was shut off, and I had no clue, but it is up and going again. So if you send emails to me, HoHo at blackmirrorpodcast.com, I'll get them now. Fantastic. And I have gotten some emails, and it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm working on the discussions in there. I've gotten quite a few of them done. I think I am in season No, I got the Waldo moment. I got that. I got nosedive. I got plenty of tests. I'm in season 3. The last episode that I have in there is San Junipero. I'm working on Men Against Fire and then moving on from there. So if for seasons 1 and 2 and then the special that they did in 2014 and then on up to episode 4 of season 3, head on in there to the discussion board. It's worth a read. Let me know. The comments are open in all of these, so it is an open discussion. It really is. I want y'all to have fun with it because, I do this for you. Granted, I love psychology. I really do. The human factor in all of it, because as I've stated, Black Mirror to me is, it's interaction, right? It's how people interact with people. It's how people interact with technology, and it's how people interact with people through technology. There's so many different things that they throw in here with the existential crises, the moral dilemma, the possibilities of us using the technology they're talking about in the episodes. It's a holy cow kind of a thing, but I want this to be interactive. I really do, because it's interesting to me, and I hope it's interesting to you. And I thank each and every one of you for stopping by, for taking a listen-see with the episode, and I really do appreciate it. I thank each and every one of you. You all are awesome. So season 7 is coming out. I don't know how far into it they are. There's only a couple things that I've really heard of it. I do have some things that I'm wanting to accomplish with Black Mirror. There really is. I got some things that I'm trying to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull them off, so I'm not even going to tell you what it is I'm wanting to do, but I'm assuming that I'm going to be going through season, because I did recaps up to, I don't even know. So I don't know if I'm going to do a recap to season 6. I really don't. Let me know what you guys want. If you want me to do some kind of a recap, then let me know. Send me an email, HoHo at blackmirrorpodcast.com, and we'll do that. We might go through different discussions on it. I don't know. It depends on you. It depends on you guys' feedback, and yeah, so there we go. All right, that is all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until season 7. Thank you for listening to the Black Mirror Podcast. If you would like to join the conversation, you can comment on this episode at Spreaker.com or go to the HoHoShow.com /forum in the discussion board for this season.